Welcome everyone in this new live development video about building an auto battle game. In this video we're just gonna build a little widget to debug what currently happens in the different battlefields locally on each machine. So we're gonna head over our widget folder, go to create a new folder called that debug, and add a new interface, widget blueprint, WGT, fight zone debugger. We're going to open that up, plug that here, add an horizontal box, a vertical box actually. We're gonna put that, where do we put this? We don't want to be like as many, we just want to be 2. So we want that, I guess, on the top of the screen, so we actually want an horizontal box like this, and we're just gonna build the lights because we don't want the light text popping fluid in here. And I hope it's not gonna take too long. It's not supposed to, because they are all our squares are movable, I think. So yeah, we're happy about that. We can go to our horizontal box. We say it's gonna take all the upper corner of the screen, and it's gonna be like 0 and 50. We want 150, I think, something like this. And we want to go back there, create a new user interface widget blueprint WGT. Actually, yeah, fight zone debug entry like this, and we want to open that up. We're gonna get rid of the canvas panel. This is gonna be desired size. We're gonna add an horizontal box. We're gonna go back there, create a new widget interface WGT units debug entry, open that up, and remove this, create and put that at the desired size, add text, and actually the text we're gonna cut and paste in a size box. The size box is gonna be like 100, okay, maybe 220. The text is gonna be in the located on the left in the middle. It's gonna be light and like 12 like this. The text is gonna be a variable unit name like this, and in construct is gonna grab its text, set its text to, this is gonna be a variable of type unit name, of type text, and name is unit name. This is gonna be exposed on spawn and public. And we actually want to go back to our designer and put our text into an horizontal box, and we want to duplicate that text and put that on the right. This is gonna fill, and this is gonna be auto, and we want, this is gonna be the number, the amount of units in there. So the text is gonna be called text unit amount like this. And we want to open up the graph, and we want to create a new function, set amount, and we want to create a variable, actually not, we want to grab our unit amount and set the text to the amount here. Actually this is going to be an integer like this. We want to hit compile, hit save, go back to our fight zone debug entry. So this is an horizontal box composed of a lot of units debug entry. So actually a vertical box, my bad. This is going to be called vbox units debug entry. This is going to be a variable, and in here, so the fight zone debug entry is going to have a variable, a ref to its fight zone like this, and this is going to be exposed on spawn. and we're gonna bind ourselves to the fact that, oh yeah, we didn't do this way, so we're gonna need an event in our grid. Let's open up our BP grid. When a unit registers, we actually want to call dispatcher on unit registered, and we want to have a link to the unit. We want to call this a new param. No, this is going to be called in units, and we want to refresh like this. So we're going to bind ourselves to the fact that a unit registers. We're going to create a new event called on unit register. Once more, actually we don't want that. We just want to assign. We want to assign to the fact that a unit registers like this. And what do we want to do? We want to grab the unit name, get unit row. I think we have some kind of name. Okay, well, I think that's it. That's what we want. We want to promote that to a variable. We want to make that a map. And what do we want to do here? We want to have a map of unit entry. So we want to find if, so unit list. We want to find if the unit already exists in the list. If it does not, what do we want to do? We want to create a new widget, which is going to be a unit entry. The unit name is going to be that one. The owning player controller is going to be the owning player. We want to add that to our vertical box. But if it exists, we want to grab it and to set amount. So we actually want to call that add amount, and we want to promote that to a variable amount. We want to remove that parameter. We want to grab the amount, and we want to set ++, and we want to set that value to 0 by default. We want to plug that in here, obviously, and we want to set that value to 1 by default. I meant not 0, 1, like this. So we want to add amount. So when a unit registers, we're going to store that. Okay, so we'll just create those panels. So we want a vertical box. No, we want an horizontal box. Edge box, fight zone debuggers, like this. And we want to promote that to a variable. Go back to our construct. On construct, we want to get all actors of class of type fight zone, and we want to loop through them, and we want to bind ourselves. We actually want to create a widget for each of these fight zone, which is going to be a fight zone debug entry, and we want to add that to our horizontal box. And we want to add our fight zone debugger to our in-game player controller. Create main HUD. We're actually gonna, oh, we don't want that. We want to go back here and just create it. We're gonna put that in a function, create fight zone debugger. And we want to pull that here. And we want to create a widget, which is going to be the debugger we just created. And we're going to be the owner. And we want to add that to our screen. And if we hit play, nothing happens. And we have, oh yeah. We only want to do this if we are actually, so we don't want to be here, we want to be in our in-game player controller, and we want to check if we are local. So fight zone debugger is here. When it spawns, it checks all the fight zone and it creates fight zone debug entry, which is that. And when it spawns, it binds itself to the fight zone, and when the fight zone's unit registers, and yeah, we need to add this, but it's not why it's not working, I guess. So we are creating the debug entry. Are we at least doing this? Oh yeah, it's working actually. So we're not calling something when we actually remove the unit. But it's not working for the bench, and yeah, I was expecting it to work on the bench, but actually, of course, it's not working. So we'll just quickly build a logic to call that when we remove the units. Clear hosted units, set hosted units. So we want to be calling the dispatcher. Oh, did we crash? No, we did not. So we want to be calling the dispatcher all the time. And when we are actually receiving that event here, we want to check if the unit is valid. And if it's not valid, it means we removed a unit from that square. So we know for sure we have that unit. We want to reduce amount, so we're gonna have another function called reduce amount, where we actually say that we reduce that, decrement int. So we want to reduce amount, and we want to check if the amount of this is actually 0. And if it is, we're going to remove this from its parent, and we're gonna remove that entry from the unit list. Like this. So does it work? So we are freezing. Oh yeah, that's because we are receiving the event we just created, we just modified. So in the square we need to know where we are using that event, and I think that's when we want to change the theme color. On new unit hosted, we are calling on unit registered. So if that unit is valid, we're gonna set its theme color. If not, we are not, and I think it's gonna get rid of the error. So we have a wolf rider and we still have it. Okay, so I think so where does the problem comes from? I guess yeah, we are only using that event here. So if we are just removing our logic, we don't have any errors, I guess. Yeah, we don't, but if we plug that and if we unplug that, so that is the moment when it doesn't like what is happening there. And I guess that's my bad, because when we receive that event, if we don't have that, we shall not be doing anything. But we have error nonetheless. Access none. Ah, yeah, of course. We are trying to grab, so in here we are trying to grab the unit row name, and we can't be doing this. Oh yeah, we are throwing, of course. So we can't be doing this like that. I guess we're gonna hack the system. We're going to hack the system because this is being called. So we should not be calling when we are clearing the hosted unit here. We are actually calling on new unit hosted, and we should not be doing this. I think we should be calling another dispatcher. We can duplicate this. Dispatch on unit unregistered, and it's gonna give us a unit here to work with. And we're gonna be calling this refresh all nodes. And before we set our, we want to set that in the end like this. And the grid is actually going to bind itself to the fact that a unit unregisters. We're going to duplicate this, called unregister, and we're going to choose that event here. So this is going to be called when a unit unregisters, and we're going to do the same here. Dispatch on unit unregister. Actually, we're going to we're going to do this on unit unregister, which is going to give us a unit as well. and we're gonna call this on unit unregister, and our debugger is actually going to bind himself, and we're gonna put our logic here into functions. So we're gonna do this, we're gonna grab this, collapse to function, create fight zone entry, and we're only going to need one parameter here, go back in there and control drag this. So we are creating an entry here. So we want to get rid of this. And we want to collapse this to a function. Oh, we can't. Why can't we? Get rid of this. Okay, maybe if we do this, it's gonna work. Reduce fight zone units entry. We're gonna assign to the fact that a unit unregistered, and in here we want to do this. And this is not gonna pass by reference, and this is gonna be unit name. We're gonna refresh, and if we hit play, we're still having errors. Fight zone debug entry, access node trying to read in units. So that's kind of strange. So I guess oh no, okay. So now, so yeah, of course. So we need to check if the unit is actually valid here, because I think we are clearing even if it's not valid. So yeah, we don't have errors, but if we drag it here, but it's not. And what if we do oh yeah, of course. So it's failing to re-add them, and I guess that's just because when we are removing this, maybe it fails. That's kind of strange, actually. We are failing to remove it here. So and does it work on client? Yep, it does. So we have a Wolf Rider and a Footman, and we have a Ranger and a Mage, and when we hit plus, so the server has nothing, but the client has, oh, it has default units. So it's working more or less, I guess. So you see how it's gonna be useful, how that tool is gonna be useful. Right now it's a bit too small. So we're gonna make it bigger. And we want to reduce that delay. If we open up our bench, we're gonna put like 1. Oh yeah, it's failing to work here. So that's not the proper way to initialize stuff, obviously. So we have a wolf rider, we have a ranger, a footman, and when we drag him out and in, it fails to re-add it. So I think it just comes from... I think we actually received that event, but we failed to... I think it's gonna print false, I mean true in here, when we should be seeing false. So he's gonna print false, yeah, and then he's gonna print true, yeah. So I think it means but I'm kinda sure that we received that event. So we should actually be performing this. Oh, of course, what an idiot I am. Alright. So we have this. And if we go to combat phase, so we have some default units there. And I guess that's because when they register, they don't have their name already. And we're gonna have some kind of other issues like this for as long as it's not gonna be a clean way to initialize the units we have in fights. And I think it doesn't really matter at that right now. The good news is that we have some kind of information about the units being there, whereas we're not replicating much stuff. So I guess it's going to wrap up that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.